Today is a Saturday, the 4th of April 2026. We are here gathering this time to practice evening chanting. So tonight, that's why I will be explaining on benefit of reverencing the sangha. Now, sangha means that the community, and the community refers to the four pillars of communities, and starts from the venerable monks and venerable nuns and female disciples and male disciples called upasika and upasaka. So these are four types of people who are following the Buddha's teachings are known as the sangha. However, whenever one speaks about the sangha, mostly now refer to the ordained monastic sangha community, and mostly referring to the venerable sangha. So, and here when we recite the recollection of the sangha, how many do you remember? How many virtues of the sangha?
9.
9, yes. Yeah. So Supatipanno onwards to the Anuttarang Purisa Dhammas, Anuttarang Punyang Khetam. So the 9. And these 9 qualities are referring to the noble sangha, the community of Arya Sangha, known as the Arya Sangha or a noble sangha, serves mankind by consistently practicing morality by highest purity. They serve as an ideal to follow, deserving respect, devotion and veneration from the devotees. The Bhikkhu Sangha, or the Venerable Monks community, by learning original scriptures, by practicing and by realizing of highest truth, following the path that the Buddha laid down, serve others and serves others by example, precepts and teaching. That's why the sangha is the one that embodies the teachings of the Buddha and help others to understand. Since they alone preserve the original teachings of the Buddha handed down from teachers to pupil, the devotees made them due respect and support. They serve both the dispensation and people by teaching the teachings of the Buddha, so that they can carry on and they can apply the teachings in their daily life. Learning is not alone is sufficient, so it needs to be practiced, and not only practicing for themselves, but also practicing towards attaining their own goal to Nibbana, as well as encouraging other members to find the real happiness, because other members of a community, they are suffering in their lives in many various ways, not only the physical way, but also dealing with day-to-day life activities. So as a sangha, that's why they always expands or extends their compassion through their learning and practicing and reaching how to help in different ways. Since the time of the Buddha, we can see that the venerable monks have not only remembered teachings of the Buddha with a great respect and a care and a devotion, they maintain those teachings which is helpful for all humankind and passed on in its pristine purity from one to another. And without that teachings, learning and preserving the authentic teachings of the Buddha that's been preserved, and it would be it would have disappeared. So their dedication is immense and valuable. When the Buddha was about to realize the parinibbana, there appeared even that time that one monk called Subhadda, who was ordained in his late life, and he was a bit annoyed by the Buddha's rules and regulations, that why this you can't do, that you can't do, and so on. And then when he heard that the Buddha is about to realize the parinibbana or death, he enjoyed that now on nobody is going to control, and nobody is going to keep eye on us. We can do whatever we like to. And which is the reason when Venerable Kassapa heard, he thought that even just the Buddha passed away, now there are already who misusing the Dhamma, so it is time to compile. So as a result, the first Buddhist council held with the 499 monks joining together with the Venerable Kassapa as the chief, so including him would be 500 monks. So with that, the sangha had dedicated themselves to preserve the teachings and carry out until even today. And thus, after the 100 years later, another group of monks again unlawful practiced and thinking that that's the okay. So that's the Vaisali, the venerable monks in Vaisali. They practice again beyond what the Buddha taught, such as you can keep some food for some days, and the Arhat still have a sexual desire, and so on. So the 10 things that he profess and think that that's okay. And which is again after that, as the Buddha Sasana or the Buddha's dispensation getting more popular during the time of a King Asoka, the Emperor King Asoka, monks were getting so much luxurious life. As a result, people disguised themselves as a monk, and with that there were lots of misunderstanding on the Dhamma. Having heard that even monks were killed during that time, when the King Emperor Asoka heard that, and then he invited monks to organize another Buddhist summit and organize the Buddhist a summit which to refine the teachings of the Buddha again. So with the 700 monks, great dedication and determination, the teachings again purified and preserved. Later on, when the Buddhism was disappeared, when Buddhism disappeared from India, it was survived in Sri Lanka, and around 450 was 400 BC. So I think 500 Christian era, 500. At that time, then there was a famine in Sri Lanka. It was called the Great Famine. And with that great famine, that caused memorizing Buddha's teachings was a very difficult task. And Sangha members thought that if we do not write it down, then the teachings will be disappeared. So as a result, they come together and wrote in a palm leaf. So that was the first written record of the Buddha's teachings. And that famine was the key how Buddhist teachings recorded, and that from oral transmission to the written tradition developed. So then that's later on the fourth council took place in Sri Lanka to refine again, to compile and recheck the entire teachings. And with that, the fourth council, the entire Buddha's teachings written in a palm leaf. So then that must be the great effort that they have done, thanks to the far-seeing and noble effort of Venerable Moggal Latisha, of Dhammarakkhita and Venerable Dhammapala and other missionaries at that time. And later on, in 1956, once again there was one Sangha Council took place in Myanmar, inviting venerable monks from different countries. And at that time, that's known as the Sixth Buddhist Council. At that time, the entire Buddha's teachings were written in a marble, and build a small pagodas, 84,000 pagodas, putting or enshrining those plates with the Buddha's teachings written. I've been there, and it's a very amazing place. And so then during the civil war, that was the only place saved. Other place destroyed. And so that was a sacred place that nobody wanted it to destroy in the civil war. During even this time, still there.
It must be an immense size of place.
Yes, it's a massive. There are three divisions, divided into three. The central as the chapel, and then inside there is an Abhidhamma section, and then another section is the Sutta section, and another section is the Vinaya section. So in the three sections, it's a massive, and written in a marble. So tremendous work that they have spent, tremendous work, and enshrined there. And then in Thailand also, when I was a novice, went to Thailand at that time. So they were about to complete writing the entire the Tripitaka in marble, and that's in Wat Pak Nam. Wat Pak Nam, where the big pagoda is now. So before that pagoda, there was a factory. The monks will be writing and then carving those the words in the marble, like a marble, this thick marble, and carving there. And if you miss one, then you have to redo all again. And this massive, like taller than me, that big. And I had a chance to go and help. And before the opening of it, the opening was I was still a novice that time, so 20 years ago, right? Yeah, and I went to put the gold color. The 10 years ago they started the project, so the 10 years ago the gold colors already faded away. So we were painting, writing with the gold color, all those. So that was a good memory that I always remember. And this place also giant, uh, a big place.
Was that where the museum was, at the bottom level?
It's not there.
Oh, it's not there.
It's not there. On the way to my graduation place, there is a place called Buddha Manthon. So that will be like 1,000 acres of a land stretched. So in that 1,000 acres of a land, there's one particular area surrounded by the water, and there's only one path goes in, and in that area that was established after 11 years of carving it. 11 years. So, and that's also preserved there, and I had the opportunity, privilege to be there to paint, gold paint in Buddha's teaching. So that's why these are the sangha that is so valuable. Now that's why whenever we study Buddhism, we are actually studying about sanghas dedication and determination to study, practice, and then passed on to the new generation. Despite of so many troubles they face along the way, along the history, there were so many wars, so many exiles, so many killed, so many, like in India when Muslim Turkish invasion came, so many monks killed. And Nalanda were destroyed. Nalanda University, back then it was one of the probably first international universities in the world, where about 10,000 students from around the world studying. That was destroyed. Many monks killed. And then again in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Indonesia, and in India, and even in Nepal, monks were killed, expelled. Such things took place, and yet in this midst of such things, the monks maintain their work to preserve and study and practice and passed on the Dhamma to the new generation. So after generation and generation, we got this Dhamma. So we are so blessed, blessed to have this opportunity. So that's why it's so humbling to see venerable monks and their dedication to preserve the Dhamma and passed on to us. And there is a commentary comes, it says that in the future there will be a time that monks will not be wearing a robe like this. They will be putting only yellow piece of a cloth, putting in their neck and saying that they are a monk. It comes to that stage, and then they will be a family. They marry, they will be married, and they will be have children. They will be working, and they will be staying in a home, no monasteries, but they dedicate themselves to study the Dhamma and then present themselves as a monk or ordained monastics. So that I studied, and I was surprised when I came to England. Do you know why?
Why?
In England there is already that movement. So 20 years ago when I came to UK, in Wolverhampton, I was invited to conduct one marriage ceremony in Birmingham. So I went there, and there was one gentleman, English gentleman, wearing a proper robe, not a robe, proper clothes, and had this white strip on both sides, wearing like this. So he was sitting there next to me, and I didn't even know why he's there. I was a monk, so I'm wearing like this. And after I sat down, and he introduced himself, he said that I have been ordained for 20 years. I have been ordained for 20 years. And I said, oh, really? Well, and I was surprised. Then, since he is ordained for 20 years, I haven't been a 20 years monk at that time. I was only about 10 varsa, maybe? No, not even not 10 varsa, about 7 years of a monkhood. And I was feel but nervous now. Because
where was he ordained then?
I'm coming on to that. And then I thought, what I'm going to do now? But however, the audience, they see me as a monk, not him as a monk. So they asked me to perform the marriage ceremony. So I did. After I have done the marriage ceremony, then they invited him to bless again and give a sermon. Okay? Now they are called Friends of a Western Buddhist Order. Okay? And it was started by Englishman, and his name is Sangha, one of the prolific writer in Buddhism and speaker. So 1950s, 1940s actually, 1940s, he began studying Buddhism while he was in, I think, Birmingham or Manchester somewhere, and he had come across with Buddhist activities in London, so-called Buddhist Society of London, and that time Christmas Humphrey was there, and other people, those who are drawn to Buddhism. And among that, he was one of the good speaker and very critical speaking. And then later he went to India. When he went to India, and he became a monk there as a Theravadin monk first, and then later he went to Tibetan Buddhism with the Dalai Lama, right? And then ordained in Tibetan Buddhism. And then later, after studying for some time, again he converted to Theravada Buddhism. And then stayed in India for many years, almost over a decade, stayed in there in India. And then he came back to England as a monk. Then he could not work with or could not accept the way the Buddhist society was running, and could not mingle with other monks, those who were already there. So like a Kapilavatthu Bhikkhu, who was one of the first British to be ordained in Thailand. So he was already ordained, and then he was already in London promoting Buddhism. And other monks were there too. So he could not follow all the rules. And so that's why he invented his own way, saying that all the Buddhist rules that they are practicing is not applicable in the West. Right? Not applicable in the West, and it's difficult to practice. So he invented his own way, and he called this group called Friends of a Western Buddhist Order. established and very famous even now. Very famous. Many even many people have ordained in that community and call themselves Kalyanamitta. And now recently this group changed its name called Triratna Group. Triratna Group. So they have their own community and they have their own way of living, and they follow their teacher Sangarakshita highly, but later because of a what's called homosexual, same-sex problem, with that problem he went into like not coming into the community for a couple of years, and then he died a few years ago. But his students, quite a good students, are there too, propagating Dhamma. And there's almost in England, in particular, almost every cities, they have this group promoting Buddhism, and they put only this strip of the robe. And so that's why when I was in a university, I was told that, after a couple of thousand years later, there will be a monk called themselves just having this robe, a piece of a robe called monks. But I don't need to wait for 2,500 years. I have seen it already here. So that's happened. So anyway, I'm not criticizing them, but I'm just referring what commentary says and what's happening now. And this is how it moves on. So that's why the Sangha, that is the reason why we pay respect to the Sangha so highly, that they have their dedication and determination, how much they have dedicated. Now, bit twist on that when we practice meditation, the more we understand the Dhamma, the deeper we achieve, it comes to the stage that even seeing the sight of the robe, the faith becomes so malleable, so softy, and the joy, and I don't know how to explain this, juicy like, you feel juicy like, so attracted to the Sangha, and that arises in your heart as you go into deeper, and that feeling comes because of seeing that how valuable the teaching is and how grateful to have these teachings. And then with that, referring to the monks that they have dedicated so much for so many years, preserving, and I have this pleasure to have this access. And with that, as it's something like very indescribable feeling that comes. It's like a early morning when we open our window and see the sunrise, this red or yellow, and the color comes, and the feeling of so happy, feeling of so joy arises in us. Similar to that, when we are meditating, when we understood the Dhamma more and then we deeper into the Dhamma, then it just, when we see the Sangha, it just comes this feeling. Doesn't matter, the Sangha, even though nowadays there are so many bad stories about the monks coming up. But again, still, they are a symbol of a Sangha. Yeah? So here, when we feel that, it's not we are taking an individual. We're taking the Sangha, the community, the robe. And this just comes, I don't know how to explain. It's just, the only I can give you simile is like when you open the window and see the sunrise. And that feeling, that joy arises in your heart. And that's why whenever we pay respect to the Sangha, these are the benefit that we see, that how beneficial that is. And this feeling, I had it for the first time when, I try to remember when was it. I attended the 10 days retreat in Nepal with the Venerable U Pandita, one of the very famous meditation master from Myanmar. He died a couple of years ago. And I was attending his retreat. And then after a couple of days later, I was feeling this, whenever I see him, it's just like want to cry, or want to go, and it's like go and hug or and say thank you, kind of like that feeling. And when I woke up, next day when I woke up, it's like even my own robe was hanging there, and it was like, it's like a precious things. I went to, and I wore it like something that I want to keep it so close. The heart was like, warm feeling, so grateful and so appreciation feeling came. And then I went to speak with another monk, not U Pandita, it was another monk, and then I said, I'm having these feelings, I don't know why. Good, very good. That's it. So that's it, very good. But after that, after retreat finished, and I went to speak with another monk, who is again brother monk to my teacher. So he was also a famous meditation master. And he said that it's because you have seen the deeper meaning of the practice of the Dhamma, and you have gained this great faith from deeper insight. As a result, when you see the robes, it just came with the great joy and happiness. And that actually gave me satisfaction. Or maybe that is the one. So that's why when we pay respect to the Sangha, with a deep respect, not just a physical monk who is in front of us, but seeing as the symbol of the noblehood, and a person who is carrying, preserving and teaching the teachings of the Buddha, preserving for further more generations to come. So that's why I feel very privileged and fortunate as well that have got this chance to carry on helping and then passed on to whoever wants to learn the Dhamma. So that's why this is the benefit of paying respect to the Sangha that I wanted to share. Right, I think we'll stop here. May you all be well and happy. Let's chant the paramitas.